President Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Warsh served on the Board of Governors from 2006 to 2011. In a recent Wall Street Journal op-ed, he called the Fed's leadership broken. Warsh will have to be confirmed by the Senate.
CBS News senior White House reporter Jennifer Jacobs joins us now with more on this. So, Jennifer, President Trump seems to have some pretty high expectations for Warsh, but we should note the Fed, of course, is an independent body. Compared to Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who's now outgoing, is Warsh more in line with Trump's priorities and policies?
Well, here's why it matters. The Fed sets all sorts of monetary policy, and that can affect loans of all sorts. It can affect the economy, which can therefore affect politics. If Americans are happy with the current politicians who are in office, and that's what matters to President Trump, is keeping Republicans in power. Now, he did post on Truth Social, on social media this morning, that he has great confidence in Kevin Warsh, that he thinks he's going to be perhaps the greatest Fed chair of all time. And he did stress that he thinks that Kevin Warsh is a guy who will not let you down. So the president has been vetting Kevin Warsh for a long time during his first administration, and then again for a long time during this administration. So the president seems to have confidence in Kevin Warsh.
So one of the things that's sort of interesting about this, Jennifer, is the president has been pushing for lower interest rates, but then you've also got this investigation into Jerome Powell and this addition that he approved to have built around the Fed headquarters. What can you tell us about where that investigation is headed?
That's right. So it all comes down to the U.S. Senate at this point, whether they are going to confirm Kevin Warsh. And there have been some U.S. senators who have expressed a lot of dismay about this investigation and have said, in fact, we don't want to vote to confirm any pick for the president until that investigation has been lifted or until it ends.
Also, just want to ask you about some news happening in D.C. last night. Obviously, President Trump teasing the Fed news at the premiere of Melania Trump's movie. You were there. Tell us about that moment.
Well, there was some speculation ahead of the event at the Trump Kennedy Center about whether the president would just give the spotlight over to his wife. It was her big night, her big moment. But it did not turn out that way. As soon as he walked into the building, he did pause in front of the photographers, and he gave her he stepped away and gave her this "take it away, honey" kind of a gesture so that she could get some solo photos. But then he dominated the rest of the red carpet. It was about 90 feet long, actually covered with a black runner. But he answered all of our questions about the Federal Reserve Chair, making big headlines, saying he was going to announce that chair this morning, about Iran, telling us that about the warships that are headed that way and how he thinks it would be great if he doesn't have to use military force, about Cuba, saying he hopes that Cuba survives, but he doesn't think it can survive as is. The whole point of the evening was for the First Lady so that she could promote her movie, which, of course, opens in theaters today. She did stop by the CBS camera, and she told me that she thinks that this is a film, as she calls it. She said it's not a documentary. It's more of her personal statement. It's a film. She did say that Americans, she thinks, will really connect with it. It's a very unusual look into her private life, and she said it contains humor and sadness, and she thinks people will really like it. But it was also unusual. There's a lot of U.S. officials who came in on the red carpet ahead of the president. So, of course, we had to ask them all sorts of questions. I asked them about the measles outbreaks and about war, and one new problem facing the United States is this thing called the screw worm. So I asked the Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins about that, and she said that she had a 2-hour-long meeting at the White House yesterday to try to figure out how to prevent this flesh-eating parasite from migrating over the southern border into the United States, where it could affect livestock and individuals. So it was just interesting, Vlad and Chanel, what sorts of topics public officials are willing to talk about when they're dressed up in their finery on the red carpet.
Yeah, just some light dinner time conversation at a movie premiere. Jennifer Jacobs, thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.